The Miami Dolphins are off this Sunday, taking a much-needed bye week. And honestly, weeks like this give us a chance to step back and look at where this team truly stands after 12 intense battles. So today, we're diving into a fully updated, realistic look at Miami's depth chart, not the outdated version floating around on team sites, but a real breakdown reflecting the actual story of this season. But before we go deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Now let's lock in. Quarterbacks, no surprise here. Tua Tagovailoa remains QB1. That part has never been in question. But the real debate among fans has surrounded QB2. Earlier in the year, Quinn Ewers briefly stepped into that role against Cleveland. But since then, Zach Wilson has reclaimed the backup spot, pushing Ewers into the emergency quarterback role on game days. However, the conversation is shifting. If the Dolphins somehow fall out of playoff contention late in the season, early or mid-December, then the logic is simple. You start Quinn Ewers. You give the rookie real NFL snaps. You evaluate whether he can become Tua's long-term backup going into 2026, or maybe even push for something bigger down the road. And with Tua's long-term health and contract status, there's no reason to risk unnecessary injuries if the postseason is already out of reach. If Miami is mathematically eliminated, Ewers must start. No hesitation. Running backs, this room has been one of the Dolphins' biggest strengths. Devon Achane is having a truly electric season, explosive, efficient, and game-changing every single week. His speed isn't just fast, it's terrifying. He's the type of player who tilts the field the moment he steps onto it. Alec Ingold continues to hold firm control of the RB2 role, while Jalen Wright has been active more often but hasn't seen consistent touches yet. Achane deserves serious All-Pro consideration. Jonathan Taylor might secure first-team honors, but Achane absolutely belongs in the conversation for second-team alongside stars like Christian McCaffrey and James Cook. No running back outside of Taylor has meant more to his offense's overall success than Achane. He's on track to clear 1,000 yards either against the Saints or Jets in Week 14, and he's been just as dangerous as a pass catcher. He's a special kind of challenge, the kind defensive coordinators lose sleep over. Wide receivers, it's been a year of changes in this group. Jalen Waddle now leads as Miami's WR1, with Malik Washington stepping into the WR2/slot role and bringing reliable production week after week. The wide receiver depth behind Miami's top playmakers has been a mixed bag this season. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine has contributed valuable blocking in the run game, but when it comes to the passing attack, he simply hasn't made the impact many fans expected. Last year in Tennessee, he was a legitimate red zone weapon and a surprising big play target. This season in Miami, that spark hasn't translated. Behind him, the rotation of Dawood Davis, Taj Washington, and Cedric Wilson Jr. has filled specific roles, especially on special teams. Wilson has taken on responsibilities similar to Westbrook-Ikhine, while Washington and Davis remain primarily special teams contributors. But let's be honest, if Tyreek Hill isn't back next season, this receiver room will need serious upgrades. Depth and reliability have to improve moving forward. Miami returns from the bye to face the New Orleans Saints next Sunday at home. And with the break finally over, the big question is simple. How do you feel about the Dolphins now? Are they better? Same? Worse? No matter your take, this team still has everything to play for. Tight ends with Darren Waller still on injured reserve. Miami continues to rely on Julian Hill, Greg Dulcich, and Hunter Long as the active tight ends. This group has undergone constant change. Tanner Conner is gone. Waller was supposed to be the anchor of the unit, but injuries shifted everything. Hunter Long has spent time on the practice squad and has stepped up when needed, showing solid blocking in both preseason and limited regular season reps. Julian Hill remains a steady presence, reliable, tough, and consistent in his assignments. But the most intriguing name right now is Greg Dulcich. The former Day 2 pick out of UCLA has quietly flashed real playmaking ability since Waller hit IR. 8 catches for 89 yards may not sound explosive, but his routes, burst, and ability to threaten the middle of the field have stood out. His combination of size and athleticism gives Miami something they badly need, a tight end who can attack defenses vertically. Even when Waller returns, it will be hard to justify pushing Dulcich back down the depth chart. If someone becomes the odd man out, it might end up being Long, who could return to the practice squad once Waller is active again. Offensive line. Miami's offensive line has looked the same since Week 4, when Cole Strange was moved into the starting right guard spot. Before that, Keon Smith and Daniel Brunskill struggled to hold down the position. Larry Borom has been the starting right tackle since Week 1 after Austin Jackson went down, and he has been a standout performer, especially over the last month. In fact, he graded out as the top offensive tackle in the league during Week 11 against Washington. That kind of play is hard to ignore. On the left side, Patrick Paul, LT, Jonah Jackson, LG, and Aaron Brewer, C, have started every game together this season, a rare streak of stability for this unit. Now the big question, what happens when Austin Jackson returns? His practice window is open. Normally, you'd plug him right back in at right tackle to evaluate him before the season ends, a necessary step for future contract decisions. But with Borom playing at such a high level, the situation becomes more complicated. Could Borom slide inside to right guard, especially with Cole Strange struggling? It's a possibility Miami has to consider. Before we dive deeper into the defense, it's important to appreciate just how much this side of the ball has transformed throughout the year. Injuries, rotations, breakout performances. Miami's defensive identity has been reshaped month after month. Defensive line Zach Sealer has been the constant force up front, anchoring the defensive line all season. But the spot next to him has been a revolving door. At different points, we've seen Benito Jones, Jordan Phillips, and first-round rookie Kenneth Grant step into that starting role. Lately, the snaps have belonged mostly to Sealer and Grant, with Phillips close behind and Jones rotating in as the interior depth piece. Even Zeke Biggers has earned some limited action, especially in the matchup against Washington. And the biggest storyline here? Kenneth Grant's growth. Early in the season, he struggled, badly at times, and the criticism was loud and fair. But over the past month, he has finally started to look like the player Miami drafted him to be. Powerful, disciplined, and capable of controlling the interior. No one is labeling him a Pro Bowler yet, but he's clearly becoming a starter you can trust. If he and Jordan Phillips continue trending upward over the final stretch, Miami could be developing a young, long-term interior duo that offenses will have to respect. Edge rushers. This position group has undergone massive changes. The absence of Jaylon Phillips reshaped everything, forcing Miami to reconfigure their pass rush rotation. Now, Chop Robinson, the explosive 2024 first-round pick out of Penn State, lines up opposite Bradley Chubb as the new starting edge. To stabilize depth, the team added Andre Carter a few weeks ago. Behind them, veterans like Matthew Judon, along with Cameron Good, continue to contribute. Rookie Quinn Bell has also been active on game days, though he's nearly out of elevations and will soon need a permanent roster decision. But the real spotlight remains on Chop Robinson. Early in the season, his snaps were limited, roughly a third of the defensive plays through the first 6 weeks. But without Jaylon Phillips, Robinson is finally getting the opportunity to unleash his talent. His impact has already shown up in big ways: strong run defense, relentless pursuit, and a lightning-quick pressure against Washington that nearly resulted in a safety on Marcus Mariota. Miami needs more of that. The fan base wants more of that. And honestly, Robinson looks ready to carry a much bigger load as the season reaches its final chapters. The linebacker room has remained one of the most stable units on the roster. With Jordan Colbert now on injured reserve, the rotation has tightened even further. Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson continue to hold down the starting spots, while KJ Britt and Willie Gay Jr. operate as the backups. The biggest surprise this year? Willie Gay Jr.'s limited snaps. He generated major buzz in training camp and preseason with his speed and physicality. Yet once the regular season began, he was firmly slotted behind Brooks. And Brooks has given Miami zero reason to take him off the field. Brooks has been playing at an all-pro level, leading the NFL with 125 tackles heading into Week 12. You never want your linebackers to dominate the stat sheet like that, because it usually means too many plays are getting past the front line, but Brooks has been outstanding. Blitzing, run defense, coverage, leadership. He's excelled across the board, silencing the doubts that followed him from Seattle, and even from his college days at Texas Tech. Brooks has become one of the emotional anchors of this defense, a captain, a voice, and a tone setter. And now Miami faces a real decision. Should the Dolphins extend Jordan Brooks before he enters the final year of his contract? He's earned that conversation. Locking him up long-term would protect a core piece of the defense and could even help create cap flexibility for the offseason ahead. Cornerbacks at corner, Miami rolls forward with Rasul Douglas and Jack Jones as the clear starters. With Juju Brents moving to injured reserve, the team added A.J. Green from the Rams practice squad to fill the depth spot. The new rotation lines up like this: Rasul Douglas, CB1 Jack Jones, CB2 Jason Marshall Jr., CB3, rising into a larger role, Ethan Bonner, CB4/special teams A.J. Green. Depth, likely inactive on game days. Douglas and Jones have locked down the starting roles, while Marshall now steps firmly into the third cornerback position. Bonner remains primarily a special teams asset, and Green provides emergency depth. Safeties. As for the back end, the safety group continues to be anchored by Miami's defensive quarterback, Minkah Fitzpatrick, who has started every game this season. The safety spot opposite Minkah Fitzpatrick has been a carousel this season. Early on, Ashton Davis started, but an injury forced a change. Then Melifon was stepped in, and he too went down. Rookie Dante Trader Jr. from Maryland took over, only for Davis to return later. It's been a revolving door at that position, yet the Dolphins have adapted. Here's the real story. With injuries piling up in the cornerback room, Fitzpatrick hasn't been playing traditional safety as much over the past 6 weeks. Sure, he still takes some snaps deep, but most of his action has come in the slot as the nickel corner. And that shift has transformed Miami's defense. Fitzpatrick in the slot is unmatched, covering tight ends and shifty slot receivers, reading routes, reacting instantly. He's better than any other corner over the middle of the field. And being closer to the line of scrimmage allows him to make critical plays against the run. His versatility has completely changed how the Dolphins defend and has made the defense sharper, faster, and more dangerous. That said, the back end has been inexperienced. Dante Trader Jr. and Fatu Melifonwu have started at safety, while Fitzpatrick operates in the nickel role. And despite their youth, Trader Jr. has shown flashes of brilliance, awareness, instincts, and playmaking ability that hint at a very bright future in Miami. This season, Fitzpatrick has been a game-changer, a leader, and a defensive playmaker who continues to elevate everyone around him. The combination of his presence and the young safeties gaining experience has set the Dolphins up for continued growth as the season enters its final stretch.